Are you preparing to take the SAT and want to know what constitutes a good score? Look no further, because in this video we've scoured through data on average SAT scores to give you a comprehensive understanding of SAT score distributions. I will also share tips on how to set and achieve your target SAT score. So whether you're a student or a parent helping your student prepare for the SAT, this video has everything you need to know. So without any hesitation, let's dive in. The SAT, despite changes in recent years to the college entrance exams, continues to be a critical component of the college admissions process. Until today, many universities and colleges in the United States, including those that claim to be test optional, still view it as a reliable indicator of a student's college preparedness. And going beyond the college admissions requirement, it still remains that achieving an impressive SAT score unlocks numerous opportunities for students, such as qualifying for competitive merit scholarships that would otherwise be out of reach. Therefore, it is important to take the SAT seriously and prepare adequately for the test. Before we dive into the SAT average scores, it's important to understand how the SAT is scored. The SAT consists of two main components, which are math and evidence-based reading and writing. Each component is scored on a scale of 200 to 800, with a total possible score being 1600. As an aside, there is an essay section that is only available in certain US states. This essay is scored from 2 to 8 in 3 different dimensions, which include reading, analysis, and writing. However, the score on your essay does not factor into the overall SAT score of 1600. Now, here are some interesting stats about the SAT in recent times. In the year 2022, 1.74 million students took the SAT, which represents a 13% increase from the number of students who took the SAT in 2021. And this is a 21% decrease from the number of students who took the SAT in the pre-pandemic year of 2019. Now, the national average overall SAT score in 2022 was 1,050, which is 10 points lower than the national average SAT score in 2021, and 9 points lower than the national average SAT score in the pre-pandemic year of 2019, which is the most severe year-over-year decline in average SAT scores since the current SAT was introduced in 2016. And when you look across national average scores of the individual sections of the version of the SAT introduced in 2016, the math section has continuously been the lowest scoring section. Students looking to attend a state school might be particularly interested in SAT scores at the state level to know how they compare to other in-state students. The state with the highest average SAT score in 2022 was Wisconsin, with an overall average score of 1,252, while the state with the lowest reported average SAT score was West Virginia, with an overall average score of 938. So if you were planning to attend an in-state school in West Virginia with an average SAT score of 1,050, which was the national average in 2022, you will still be above your West Virginia peers. However, when comparing SAT scores between US states, it's also important to consider the percentage of graduates from each state that took the SAT in the current year. For example, while Wisconsin reported the highest SAT score in 2022, only 2% of graduates from these states took the SAT in 2022. Thus, the reported SAT score from these states are drawn from a very small sample compared to a state like West Virginia, where 84% of graduates took the SAT in 2022. But knowledge of national and state average SAT scores alone tells half of the story, as it's also important to consider score distributions, also known as percentile scores, to get an accurate picture of where an SAT score falls relative to the competition. For example, in the year 2022, an overall SAT score above 1400 fell into the top 8% of test takers nationwide. Broken down further, if you scored above 700 on the math section in 2022, that will place you among the top 10% of test takers nationwide, while the same score on the evidence-based reading and writing section will place you in the top 8%. But while an SAT score of 1400 is without a doubt a good SAT score when compared to the rest of the country, it might be the average SAT score amongst applicants competing for admissions into some colleges. For example, if you're targeting any of the Ivy League schools, you will need an overall SAT score above 1500 to be a strong applicant. So as you can see, your target SAT score would ultimately depend on how competitive the pool of applicants are at the schools you will be applying to. One of the best ways to find this information is to look at the student profile of the last year's admitted class. There you will find information about the SAT score distributions of the last year's admitted class. So for example, if I was applying to the University of Pennsylvania, I would find out that about half of the students enrolled in the class of 2026 reported SAT scores between 1510 to 1560. So now you know how to set the target SAT score. Let's talk about how you can raise your SAT score. First course of action will be to take an official SAT practice test to gauge gauge your current level. Now, at the time of this video, the College Board's website offers 8 full-length SAT practice tests for free, and it's best to take this practice test under realistic test-taking conditions. How far off you are from your target SAT score will determine how rigorous your SAT prep will need to be. Once you've completed this diagnostic test, the next course of action will be to identify the areas of the SAT where you're strong and areas that need improvement. This is where working with the right SAT prep resources such as books, online courses, or private tutoring become important. And to help you find the best prep resources, you can watch our reviews on the best SAT courses and private tutoring companies on the market, which I'm going to link down in the description section below. Just as important as picking the right SAT resources is creating and sticking to a structured study schedule. Whether you can devote 1 hour per day or an entire weekend to SAT prep, finding a schedule that works for you is essential. Now, it is crucial to keep in mind that although high test scores can give you an edge over other candidates, they should not be the only factor to determine your success in the college admissions process. Along with SAT scores, your GPA, extracurricular activities, recommendation letters, and college essays also have significant roles to play. These factors provide colleges with a more comprehensive view of your skills, talent, and potential as a college student. Hope you got some value from this video, and best of luck in your SAT prep.